Hey everyone, my name is Mike, and in this video, I'm going to take you through the entire process of setting up your own affiliate marketing website. And I've been doing affiliate marketing for about 7 years now, and honestly, it has been an incredible journey. I've been able to achieve consistent and reliable results month after month. So in this video, I'm very excited to get into this and show you how you can replicate this success for yourself. We'll cover everything you need to know about how to build a website and how to make a successful affiliate marketing website in particular, starting with the very basics and going all the way to some advanced strategies that can help you maximize your earnings. But before we get into any of that, let me clarify something up front. I'm not here to sell you an expensive online course. I firmly believe that you can learn everything you need to know about affiliate marketing for free by watching videos like this one. So please be cautious about those out there who promise to make you a millionaire overnight if you just buy their $2,000 course. Success in affiliate marketing requires dedication, lots of learning, and a lot of hard work, but it doesn't require money. But if you stick with it, you can absolutely achieve some amazing results. Now, there are a lot of reasons to like affiliate marketing, from the low overhead costs to the massive scalability, but by far the biggest reason that I personally like affiliate marketing is because it is just so accessible to anyone, regardless of your prior experience or skill set. Like, you don't need a degree in anything to do affiliate marketing. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be a coding expert. You don't even have to be a good writer. In fact, I haven't actually written an article in like 3 or 4 years now. So I'll show you that throughout this video. But for those who are asking me if now is too late to start affiliate marketing, the answer is absolutely no. Like, this is the best time. If anything, affiliate marketing is actually better now than it was when I started out about 7 years ago. And I'll show you why in the second half of this video. In the first part of this video, I'm going to show you click by click how to make your affiliate marketing website. And like I said before, you don't need any coding knowledge. And I promise it's actually way easier than you think. And then if you stick around for the second half, we'll get into some really good stuff. And we'll talk more about some strategies, some ways to find the best affiliate products, some ways to improve your conversions, and most importantly, how to automate parts of your business to free up your own time to scale, or just to, I don't know, spend time with your family. Whatever your reason for doing this is, automating is going to be a pretty significant part. To get the most out of this video, here's what I do. When I watch videos like this and I try to learn stuff, first I silence my phone and I completely put it away, because whatever we're talking about in this video is probably going to be more important than the Instagram notification or whatever distraction your phone gives you. So I think it's important to put your phone away. And secondly, it's just really useful to kind of capture some of that information, so in the future you can go back and not have to rewatch this entire video. And remember, like I said, success is completely dependent on your commitment and your willingness to learn here, not on your IQ, not on your writing abilities, and I can't emphasize this enough. If you just follow through this entire video and understand everything I'm showing you, I promise you'll have everything you need to be successful in affiliate marketing. So if you're new here, consider subscribing while I get over to my laptop and we get started. So there are a lot of ways to make your website, but we're going to be using WordPress, which is free to use and powers more than 1/3 of the internet, which gives you great integrations, a lot of great themes and plugins, and overall just a lot of power and flexibility in making your website. So that's great for ranking on Google and giving users the best experience. And then in order to host that, so you have to save that somewhere. To host it, we use Hostinger, which is a very fast, very powerful, and very affordable way to host your WordPress website. It costs about $3 to $4 per month, which, I mean, it's, like I said, very affordable compared to most other ones out there. So to get started, we're going to go to santrelmedia.com/hostinger, or you can click on the link in the description or copy and paste the link, whatever. As long as you go through that link, you'll get the savings I'm going to show you in just a minute. Starting off, it'll bring you to this page right here. So we're going to click on WordPress on the top right, or really just on the top. Then we can click on Claim Deal, the giant purple button. And there are 3 different options here. There's Premium, there's Business, and there's Cloud Startup. Business is the one that's most popular. This is usually what I recommend. It gives you a lot of benefits from increased performance right here, which is going to be great for, again, giving your users a better experience. You also have a lot more storage on this one. You're getting daily backups, which is a huge one, especially when you're getting started out, so you don't accidentally mess up your website and lose a lot of work and have to rebuild things. You just roll back to the previous day. You get a free email, free SSL, and a lot of other things. But, you know, for some people, you might want to go with the lower option. Some people might want Cloud Startup. I'm going to go with Business for this video. So we're going to add that to the cart, and that'll bring you to the next page here. And we can select the duration of our subscription. So it doesn't really matter which one you choose. Just do not choose 1 month. You're going to end up spending more money with that. The $5 setup fee, $14, and then you also pay for a domain. It ends up being like $40. So for an extra like $20, you get the entire year. The domain's included, and like it just makes a lot more sense to do that. So at least go with the year, but I'm going to go with 48 months because you are saving by far the most money. And whenever it renews, it's going to renew at that higher price. So you might as well lock in the lowest price for as long as possible. And I also have a discount code that applies to the entire purchase. So again, it'll apply to 4 years instead of 1 year. So now we can create our account. This is going to be the first of 2 accounts we're going to make. This one is for Hostinger. So I'm just going to start off with my email, and then I'm going to put in my credit card information down here. And before we actually click submit and secure, I actually want to click have a coupon code, and we can save 10% here by typing in Santrel 10. Click apply, and it'll bring it to like 170, I think, $172. And that's for 4 years of hosting. That gives us a domain for the first year. We get an email. We get a lot of things with that. So generally pretty affordable. All right, so then we can click on start now. We can honestly skip all of this stuff. It doesn't really matter. None of that's going to change anything. We are creating a new website, so we'll select that. And now I'm going to be making this neither. I'm going to start from scratch. I don't want the AI to do any of that for me. And now we're going to claim a free domain. So let's say I want this website to be about houseplants. I'm just going to call it Santrel House Plants. Hopefully you have a better name than that. That's a pretty long one. And also we don't want .net, we want .com. So let's search for .com. There it is, search, that's probably going to be available. It is. I'm going to continue. And like I said, this is going to be free for the first year. I think after that, it's usually like maybe $12 to $15 a year. Domains are pretty cheap. Then we click finish setup. And it might take a couple minutes here. So then Hostinger is going to give you 2 options to either visit your website or manage your site. Click on manage site. It'll take you to this page right here. And now we're simply going to go over to website. We're going to click on auto installer and select WordPress. It'll automatically install WordPress. Super easy to do. And we're going to choose the title of our website. So Santrel, and this is going to be houseplants. And then you're going to make a new password. Now this password is going to be for WordPress. It doesn't have to be the same as your Hostinger password. In fact, you may want to make it different, but definitely write this down. This is probably the most important password, and you don't want to lose this one. And then we'll just click on install. And that might take a minute or two until that actually installs. All right, and that will bring you to this page here. There are 2 ways you can access your website now and in the future. One way is going to be through Hostinger. And the second way, which I'm going to actually show you now, that's how I'm going to access, is really the easier way. It's going to probably be the way you access it all the time in the future. You simply go to your domain, so santrelhouseplants.com/WP admin. So WP for WordPress, admin because you're the administrator, hit enter, and that's going to bring you to a login page. And like I said, that password that you just made that you don't want to forget, hope you didn't forget it already, you're going to put that in right now. So I'm going to sign in. And now we're finally at the WordPress dashboard. So this may look intimidating. I promise it's actually pretty logical. Everything makes sense where it is. And I'm going to walk you through everything in just a minute, but kind of let's get this ball rolling with making the website first, kind of get some progress, right? Get a win in the bank. So we want to go to appearance, click on themes, and we're going to be installing Astra. So we can click on add new on the top, and Astra should be right there. If not, you can search for it, but Astra is super popular. It's always among the top when I go here. So we'll go and install, and then we are going to activate Astra. Now, I personally like using Astra because again, it's free. It's very widely used, so it's very well supported and it works well. There are a lot of themes and templates you can choose from. So let's click on activate. And once you have that theme activated, you'll be able to see this right here. It says install starter templates. That is what we're going to do. But in case you don't see that or you accidentally X out of it, you can also access this by going to the Astra button right there on the left side. If you click on Astra, you can also install starter templates over on the right side. So it doesn't matter which of those 2 buttons you click on, but it'll take you over to the installer where you can start choosing a starter template. There are a lot of free ones here and some paid ones as well. I recommend browsing through all of them, but first we have to choose the builder. Now, this is going to be how we're dragging and dropping elements to make sure the website is easy to use. We like to use Elementor. Again, it's free to use and it's super easy as well. So now we can browse through these. Out of all of these, I think this one looks pretty good, but you can also filter them, by the way, as well. So we're looking for a blog. So I'm just going to say this one's houseplants. Maybe it's going to be similar to a food blog. Like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out what the layout would really be of this one. So let's see. Let's just go to blog in general. So I'm just going to say travel blog. See what they have for that one. Yeah, these are okay. Let's just say plant blog. You can also search for individual things and see what actually pops up. All the yellow ones are going to be premium. You can choose if you want all of them or just the premium ones. Unfortunately, you can't filter for just free ones because, you know, that's how they're making money. So like I said, the Earth one's probably going to be the best one. And when you click on it, you can kind of browse the website and see what it would actually look like. Obviously, we'll be changing all of the text, all of the images, but you want to save as much work as possible and find the template most similar to what you probably want in the end. You can add a logo right now. I don't have a logo just yet, so I'm not going to do that at the moment. We will add a logo a little bit later on. So I'll say skip and continue. We can choose our color theme. Green, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want. This is a houseplant website. And you can choose your font pairing as well. There are a lot of different pairs that are very common, but obviously 8 right here that are recommended. I'm going to stick with the default one because again, I kind of do like that font. So we'll say continue, and you want to make sure all of these are selected except the first one. You don't actually need the newsletters, but you do want the widgets and the settings and all of that stuff. So I will submit and build the website. Now they're going to be installing this template. They're going to be adding all the photos, everything about it, and then we'll be able to customize that. So far, pretty easy, just following the clicks. You're going to end up with a website that is ready to go, and we just have to swap out some text and some images. And now let's click on view your website. It's going to take us over to our domain, and you can see right there, this little bar on the top is not going to appear for anyone else except for you because it's your website and you can edit that. But going down, you can see, again, like this website looks pretty solid already. Now, we want to actually start editing this. So might as well just click on the top, edit with Elementor, and that'll take us into the editor for this specific page, the home page. And I'll show you how to edit the other ones in a minute, but let's close out of this. Now, this is the interface you'll probably spend most of your time in. And I promise as we go through this video, it's all going to make a lot more sense to you and everything is going to be, pretty easy to navigate. But at first it may look intimidating. So kind of a little layout of the land here. On the right side, this is obviously what your website looks like. And on the left side, these are all the elements and the settings that you can customize for the website. The website is laid out in what's called a section layout. So everything outlined in this kind of a pinkish color here is going to be in its own section. You can really just look at it based on the background. So everything with this earthy background right there is one section. Going down, everything with this white background right here is another section. Then we've got another section right here. You kind of get the idea of how it works. So the highest level in this hierarchy is sections. We've got really only 3 sections on here, but within each section, you have columns. So we have one column right here. You can see everything's just in one column. Down here, this is 3 columns. And then down here, we've got 2 columns and then 1 on the bottom. And then within each column, you have elements. Elementor makes sense. They have elements. And so here we have like an image element. We've got a title element and then some text down there. If we click on the little 9-dot array on the top left, these are the elements we can choose from. And again, like I said, there are a ton of free ones. There's also a paid version of Elementor if you want some bonus ones like countdown and block quote, whatever, stuff like that. You can see the locked ones there. If you pay for Pro, you can get those. I'm going to close that because I don't have Pro right now. Not on this website in particular, obviously. We still have a lot of things we can add even without getting Pro. So if you want to add, for example, a button down here, you can simply click and drag the button right there. And now you have a button. Now for any of these, if you just click on it, you can click on the little pencil icon and you get the settings and you have 3 tabs for the settings. So the first tab is going to be the content, and that's where you change the image, you change the size of the image, like overall the basic stuff you'd expect to change here. The second one is a style. That's usually not what you have to change as much, but if there's something a little bit more obscure, you want to change some specific details, the border radius, like if you really want this to be rounded, like I could add like a nice radius on the top, on the outside of all of those. If that's the style of your website, you could add those right here. And then we have advanced, and this is really going to be if you want to add more margin or padding around something. So how much space there is, how much white space there is between this and the next photo over or something below it. That's going to be your margin and your padding. By the way, when you're adjusting these, so if I add a lot more margin here, you'll see it is symmetrical around all sides. If I don't want that, if I just want it on the top, you can click on the little chain link icon. So the values are no longer linked together and I can adjust them individually and you can see how that works. Now I'm going to link these all back at 0 and I'm not going to adjust that on this photo. The other important thing you might want to do in the advanced settings is actually choose what it's going to be displayed on. So if you go to responsive, you can hide it on desktop or hide it on tablet or hide it on a mobile view. And just kind of give you an idea, this is obviously the desktop view right here. I'm working on my computer, my laptop. But if you wanted to see this, for example, on a mobile device, you click on responsive mode on the bottom. This little bar appears on the top and we can click on mobile portrait. Now we can see our website in a mobile portrait view. And you know what, maybe like this is just too long. Maybe you don't like this section or maybe you don't like this column. And so you can simply click on, remember I showed you can click on an element and you get these settings. The same is true for a column. You can click on a column and you get the same 3 settings. Well, the first one's a little different. It's layout instead of content, but it's essentially the same thing. So for this column, I think you guys can probably guess the trend here. If we go to advanced, we can go down to responsive and I could hide this column on mobile. So if I hide it, it's going to be grayed out telling me that it does exist, but if anyone goes to the mobile site, that won't be there at all. It'll just kind of skip right to the next one, but it shows you, obviously your content's there. And if you go back to desktop, it's there. It's not hidden. It's not grayed out at all. So that's a really important setting. And I highly recommend as you go through the website creation process, you go and edit that and really view it on mobile and desktop and kind of switch between that as much as possible, because something like houseplants, it's probably going to be showing up in a lot of like Facebook groups, Reddit groups, I don't know, different places that people are viewing on their phone. And they're way more likely to end up on this website on their phone. So you really want to make sure you're optimizing for that. And of course, quick reminder, always go down here and save your changes. You can just click on update if you want, or you could save it as a draft. I just update. No one's viewing this website at the moment, so updating is just fine. Now, if we want to start customizing this, as I showed you before, it's going to be editing the content. So let's go and customize maybe these 3 photos first. If I click on the pencil icon, we'll go to content, and we can just choose a different image. We can click on upload files, and I'm just going to choose maybe like this one first, just one photo there. It's going to upload that, and then we can say select. And we have our first photo on the left. We can have another one in the middle. So then if we want to adjust maybe the text down here, we can simply double click on it, or actually just single click on it and edit on the left side. And maybe these are each going to link out to some of our top cornerstone blog posts. So I'm going to say this one's maybe like how to prevent like powdery mildew. Something that maybe people would search a lot. And of course, with any one of these, if you wanted to maybe link to a specific product, you can simply highlight that word. So highlight the word products and then click on a link, and you can insert a link for that to go to whatever website you want. We'll talk about affiliate links in just a minute, but let's go down and talk about this button here. And this button could maybe link over to that article. So we're just going to click on the button, and you have, of course, text is going to be what's showing up in there. So we could say read more, and then the link, you delete the little hash sign right there, and we could just paste the article of whichever article we want to link to. We don't have an article yet, so I'm just going to leave that blank. Leave that hash in there, and we can say update. So you could repeat the same thing for the other 2 over on the right side, but that's essentially how you'd go about editing this. I'm not going to bore you with repeating everything on this exact same website. Really want to just talk about the fundamentals here, but let's go back up to the top and talk about how we can change this. So obviously the text is going to be changed exactly like I just showed you. The button is the same, but this picture right here is actually part of the background. So if you click on the 6-dot array up there on the little pink kind of what is that, a trapezoid? And then we can go over to style, and we have an image in the background. If you click on choose image, you can choose a different image. So I think probably this one is going to work the best for our top. Yeah, that one looks pretty decent. It needs a little bit of work though, but it's going to be, that's the one I plan on using. So first of all, the image size is full. That makes sense. Maybe I want to make it center left. It's not actually going to move it, but on some photos it could, depending on the aspect ratio, it could move around. The attachment, it could be scroll or it could be fixed. So if you make it fixed, everything scrolls past it. Kind of a parallax effect. I think that looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll keep that. And then we could say, does it repeat? No, it doesn't repeat. Display size is going to be covered. You could also make it, let's make it covered. And you can also have an overlay on here as well. So this text pops reasonably well, but maybe I want the green to be a little bit less saturated. So I could add on the top a color. So I could simply click on background type. I could just say, I can click on this right here and choose like kind of a whitish color. And you can see it's going to change the way that looks. So let's go to like kind of a whitish, maybe like that. And of course you can change the opacity. So you can make this like the text is going to pop a lot more like that, or a lot less when it's like this. And we can also move this text. I'll show you that in just a second. But that's something that's really important if you want to have an image in the background. That's pretty much the fundamental there. So here's a little quiz for you. See if you can figure out how I would move this text over to the right side. You have a couple options here. One of them is going to be to just make it right aligned. Of course, that would move everything over there. A second one, see if you thought of this one, is actually to click and add a second column here. So if I click on edit column, I could duplicate that column. So we now have 2 columns, and then just go and delete the elements out of this column. So if we right click on that one, you can go down and delete that. We can right click and delete that, and we can right click and delete the button. Now we have 2 columns here, but there's nothing in this column, which is great. So I can simply adjust the width here, and now that's going to put it wherever I want, maybe somewhere over there. So that's going to be essentially the header. It's a little bit taller than I would like. So again, we can customize that in the settings, but we have a lot of other stuff to talk about. So let's move along. As we go down, this is all stuff we already know how to work with. We know how to work with this stuff. A lot of your website is really just going to be images, text, buttons, and titles. That's really most of the majority of websites. But there are some other elements over here. If you want to add a video, you can embed that. And dividers and spacers. Spacers and dividers are a pretty important one. So if you wanted maybe like, I mean, honestly, you can add space in so many different ways, but if you wanted a spacer like between this title and the text, you can simply drag a spacer over there, drag a spacer over there. See if it lets me do that. There we go. And you can choose the size of that space. It's just one of the ways you could do that. You could also add margin or padding to either one of those, as I showed you before. And so let's go and delete that. Otherwise, we have, see if we have anchors on here. That's a really important one that I like to show I like to showcase in these videos because a lot of people don't realize what anchors are, but they are really useful when you have like a really long web page. So if you have maybe like a couple blog articles on the same page, some people like to do that. Or if you just have a really long article and there's like one section about maybe like you're talking about products like phones, for example. Maybe you have one section about battery life, one section about like the camera, and at the top you have like, you know, some little shortcuts there. You can just click on like jump down to the camera, jump down to the battery section, or recipes do this. Another one, jump to recipe, very common on most recipe blogs. So the way you do that is actually if you go down here, you should see anchor. You can also search, by the way, so just type in anchor and you'll see menu anchor. So let's just say we want to link, we want it to scroll to right here. The way to do that is to click and drag menu anchor. We'll drag it to right there, and we're just going to call this menu anchor. We're going to call this menu, we're going to call this menu 1. Call it menu 1, and that's going to be the anchor. It looks weird. Nobody's ever going to see that when they go to your website. So let's just say update right now. And we want to remember it's called menu 1. So let's copy that, copy menu 1. And if we go back up here, let's just say this button, for example, we're just going to change it. I don't know, just to demonstrate this, I'm going to say read more. And this is what the little pound sign, little hash actually does. This links to anchor. So if I just paste the title of the anchor, menu 1, so hash menu 1, then I can update. And now if we go to the little preview changes button right there, the little eyeball, if we click on that, it'll show us what the website actually looks like. So this is the website, but if we click on read more, it'll scroll down exactly where I wanted it to the very end there. Now, it doesn't have to be the end, is wherever you put that anchor. So if you put it right here, it would scroll there, and you could use your imagination on how useful this could actually be. So that is really the fundamentals of how to use Elementor. We have a full tutorial going into the weeds on each and every one of these. So if you want to learn more about how to use forms or Google Maps or icons, I'll have that link in the description below. Obviously, it's a free video just like this one, so you can find it on YouTube if you just search for that as well. But let's go back and start talking more about the website itself, starting making some of these articles, and of course, start making some money with the affiliates as well. So let's go back to exit right now. And we're going to choose, let's say we want this to go back to the WordPress dashboard when we exit. We'll say apply. So let's say cancel. Let's just make sure we update one more time. Update that. And now when we click exit, it'll take us back to the dashboard. Just something you have to do the first time you exit from there. So kind of running you through this dashboard here. I haven't really talked a lot about this. Remember, we got our theme. We started editing right away. But this is really going to be a pretty powerful interface. You'll be using this quite a bit. So kind of running you through the layout of the land here. So on the left side, we have quite a few different options. Let's just start at the top. If you go to dashboard, you have home and you have updates. Home is just going to show you some random different stuff. It'll tell you like, hey, there's a new WordPress coming. Nothing really changes that much, but just they'll let you know when there's updates and stuff like that. But for other themes and plugins, if you click on updates, they will have their updates down here. Hopefully everything is already up to date for me. So I'll click on that and you can see, yeah, right now everything is up to date. But whenever you do want to update something, one really important thing to keep in mind is you'll select everything, click update, and then wait. Like, do not click off this page. Do not go to another page because your website will enter maintenance mode while it's making those updates, and then it will exit maintenance mode. If you leave before it's done, you're gonna be stuck in maintenance mode, and you're gonna have to roll back to a previous version of your website, or you have to delete the maintenance. It's a headache. You just wait an extra like 30 seconds to make sure, and then it'll say updates complete, maintenance mode disabled. Always make sure you see that. Going down here, we have Astra. That's the theme that we're using, of course. So you can customize some things on here if you want to change like the footer, the header, maybe the site identity. If we want to add a logo, you can change all of that within here. Super powerful, obviously, to customize universal elements like global elements throughout your website. Then we have posts. These are going to be your blog articles. This is where you really would want to go to add a new blog article. So if we're going to write one right now, we could simply click on add new. Actually, let's first delete this one. We don't need the hello world. Obviously, you don't want that as an article on our website. So we're going to move that to trash. We'll just select it, click on trash, and now we have nothing there. So let's click on add new. And we're going to start off by titling this one. And what did I say the other one was? Powdery mildew, right? How to get rid of powdery mildew. Maybe that's like our first article, just like an example article. So let's close out of that and we'll call this how to mitigate, Okay, so that is going to be the title. We're going to customize a lot of this other stuff on the right side, even though you don't always have to do this as much with a general web page, like your home page or about page. for articles, it is a lot more important, especially when you're trying to rank on Google and organize a huge library of different articles. So on the right side, we have the summary. Some things are going to show up in a minute. Like we're going to get some plugins that really help a lot with this, but kind of just showing you a little bit more about this. You can categorize things. So this is just put it in a blog category. You can make other categories as well and say like, maybe like plant fixes or like different kinds of houseplants or like tropical houseplants, whatever. If you want to make different categories like that, you can simply add a new category. You can add tags on there. We should add a featured image. So I'll add a featured image right now. And maybe you're just going to use this one right here, set that as the featured image. So that'll be showing up anytime somebody like shares it or just throughout it's going to be important for that right there. So excerpt, this is another one. This is going to be, it's optional, but when somebody searches on Google, that's what's going to show up as the little description most of the times. But again, we're going to customize that with Yoast SEO a little bit later. And then discussion, you can choose if you want to allow comments. And that's going to be something that, again, we're going to want to talk about how to mitigate a lot of the bots that otherwise might comment on here. So that is the basics of the article. Now, if we click on Edit with Elementor, actually first click Save Draft. You don't want to lose this work. Now click Edit with Elementor. It'll take you into this basically the same editor that I just showed you with a couple different elements. So you'll have some blog specific elements like an author box and things like that. But in general, just like ground level, this is what it looks like. You can drag widgets over here. They call it widgets, essentially just elements over here. So if you want to add like text editor, that's obviously going to be a big one. So then if you want to add like text on the left side and an image on the right side, so it's not just like one continuous column, like an infinite scroll here, we can go and add like, let's just say 2 columns, and you can make them like slightly different widths, and you can add an image in one of them. And I think you guys have a pretty good idea of how you're going to go about editing all of this. It's really pretty straightforward, just like what I was showing you throughout this entire video. You're probably experts by now, and I'm sure you guys are doing very well. But let's actually talk about one of the tools that you can use to not write your article. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of just having ChatGPT write your whole article. It can help you to build like a little bit of a base library, but generally it's better to have your own written articles. But I do use ChatGPT a lot, and I recommend other people do, to help you kind of outline the article, do some research for you, always verify it, of course, make sure the information is correct. But it's a powerful tool. Like it can be your co-pilot when you're writing this. A second option is to just hire somebody to write it for you. You can find people on Fiverr, you can find people on Upwork, you can find people on onlinejobs.ph. There's a lot of different places you can go that you can find people that can write articles for relatively cheap and can do a pretty substantial, like a pretty good job as well. Now, because I don't have time to go and hire somebody in the duration of this tutorial, I'm going to use ChatGPT and just kind of see what we come up with. Let's just say maybe like a 3,000 word article. It's going to create an outline for us. And then I like to do it like this because sometimes the responses from ChatGPT are limited in length. So you can't get like an entire article. So sometimes I like to just go and make it outline it first. And then I'll maybe like paste 2 or 3 elements in there and say like, please flesh out these right now. So let's just go and say maybe these, or actually it already knows the number. So I could say, please write the contents. The thing with ChatGPT is you can actually add some little stylistic elements in here. So you could say, make sure you cite your sources, make sure you add like a quote from Gandhi or something. Like you can tell it to do whatever you want, and it'll find a really good spot to add that. So that's another cool way to add a little bit of creative twist on here. So let's just say I'm going to do that right now. All right, so there is the first one. I could just copy this while it's writing the rest. Well, maybe I can't, it's kind of moving. There we go. So we'll just copy this one. So we're going to put that in the beginning. We'll go and put that right there. And then down here we can have, this is the next one. We'll add an image here. All right, so I mean, I didn't copy everything over. It can be a pretty long article. I told it to write a 3,000 word article, but you can see generally this is going to be like, you can all put it in there. Like you get the idea of how it's going to work. Now, you don't want to just have an article just like this. Like go around, do some research, see what other articles in your space look like general format. For example, maybe there's a lot more titles. You want to have questions in there so it's more searchable for Google. And so maybe you want to have like some subheadings in there. So for example, if you wanted to add that, I haven't shown you how to actually add headings and subheadings. If we click and drag heading over to here, we can make this H3, maybe it's going to be H3, and we could say this section, what is this, a third one? So what did ChatGPT call the third one? The third one was conditions favoring powdery mildew. So what causes, maybe this is like what causes powdery what causes powdery mildew. So maybe you want to have it laid out something like that, so it's a little bit more readable. Somebody can scroll down and see what they're looking for instead of just a giant word salad. So again, you get the idea of how this is going to work. Now, when you're done, we can go and publish this. And I mean, I actually didn't write anything yet. I technically wrote like one sentence asking ChatGPT to write that. Like I literally just gave it a title and I told it, to add quotes. And unfortunately, it misinterpreted and added one quote from Gandhi for every single paragraph. So it's a very Gandhi themed article right here. So maybe you'd want to change that a little bit. But it does have, the facts, like I said, with some links to those sources, which again lends a lot of credibility to the article. Of course, always fact check it yourself. But I mean, ChatGPT did a pretty impressive job here. I have to say, like even having not written anything, like I didn't even read it all yet, but that's a really good start. It looks pretty solid. So because this is an affiliate marketing website, there's two things. Number one, you want to remember that it's very important to provide real value to the readers. You want to actually give them stuff. You don't want to just shill every product you can find on them. So make sure you're really giving them some genuine value to help whatever you're trying to help them with. The second thing is, because it is an affiliate marketing website, you want to make sure that every article you're writing has at least one or two ways that you can plug something. So maybe in this one right here, that it's going to be a highly searched article. That it has a lot of chances for success because you did your research. We'll talk about that later. But then you want to say, okay, how can I monetize this? Maybe it is some type of powdery mildew sprays. Maybe it's some type of like a fan that you can blow on the plants to keep the airflow so they don't get powdery mildew. So let's just go to Amazon. So if I go to Amazon, look up powdery mildew spray, you can see there are a bunch of them. They're relatively cheap, but if you get a couple percent on that and you're getting a lot of people to click, then that could start to monetize the article. But maybe this is a good one right here. So we'll talk a lot about how to get signed up for affiliate marketing platforms like Amazon Affiliates. Is probably the easiest one that most people are in. It's usually the one that I recommend starting with. But again, you could have that link and you can go back to your article here and you can simply paste it throughout. Like I showed you before, anywhere that you see like, I don't know, whatever. If you find words that actually make sense for that, you can go and highlight that and then you can paste that link right in there. Additionally, you can add buttons, you can make things clickable, but always make sure you have your affiliate disclaimer somewhere at the top. That's very, very important on these websites. So let's click update. We have our article and let's go back to that WordPress dashboard and talk about some of the other things we have on this website. But I think that article really was off to a pretty good start. We next have media. Now media, you're not really gonna have to do much here. This is what I already showed you. It's where all of your photos get uploaded, your videos, your PDFs, whatever, any media you have is gonna show up there. Pages are going to be different from blog posts or posts right there. In that these are like the classic cornerstone web pages you have, like the home page, the about page. So go through here and customize any one of these or all of them. And since we don't have services, you can always delete them. So just click it and move it to trash, and that will get rid of that. And going down, we have comments. You want to go through and read comments, maybe engage with your readers. That's a way to kind of boost brand loyalty and kind of get some fans of your blog and get people to really, you're helping them out and they're helping you out. Then kind of skipping down to plugins, this is where you can get a lot of cool applications that can run on WordPress that can really make your life so much better. So the first one I want to get, especially important for websites like this, is called Yoast SEO. So if we click on add new, we can type in Yoast, that's YOAST, Yoast SEO. So SEO stands for search engine optimization. This is Yoast SEO. So it's helping us with the search engine optimization, basically meaning helping us rank on Google to get that free traffic, which everybody wants. Obviously, that's probably the most important thing you can get. You're not always running ads for affiliates. Organic traffic is the main goal here. So this is going to help us tremendously with that. So you can start your configuration here, click on start first time configuration, and it'll walk you through a lot of stuff from choosing what your website title is, choosing how everything shows up in Google. So maybe it's like the article dash and then your name, choosing a lot of things like that, your social profiles, where you can link to, what you want it to look like on different platforms, as well as some other personal preferences. So that's a really important thing to have, but you're not always going to go down here and manage that. Instead, you'll probably be using that a lot more if you go up to posts. So if we go and click on posts, and we look at this one right here, instead of clicking edit with Elementor, which is how you edit the contents of it, let's click on regular edit. This is the WordPress editor, but it's not going to allow us to edit the contents of it. Like I said, that's all in Elementor. Instead, we can scroll down here, and here is Yoast SEO. So it's going to tell us the readability of it. So this will tell us like you're using enough active voice. That's good. We have good sentences. We have good paragraph length. We don't have enough transition sentences. Sentences length, like they're a little bit longer, and stuff like that. So it tells you how to improve your readability to make it more comfortable for people to read through your website and get the information they need. And then of course SEO. This is showing us what it shows right there. Please provide a meta description. We don't want that. So let's go back to ChatGPT and have it write a meta description. So I'll just paste that right in there, and we can see that's the meta description that people can see when they show up on Google, when this shows up on Google, and that's what it's going to look like. So Yoast SEO, super powerful tool, highly recommend it. And once again, like all the other plugins, it is freemium, so free to use for stuff like this, but there's a premium option if you want to get more into some more complicated stuff that maybe eventually you do, but it's nice to start off with the free version here. So we will update that, and this can start ranking on Google. Now let's go down to settings, and I promise we're going to get into the actual monetization of this in a minute, but kind of some important settings we need to talk about here. One of them, the site title, Santrel houseplants. Make sure your site title is in there. We did already name that before. You can add a tagline. So we have our little tagline right there. And then at the bottom, we can go down and save changes. And now it's really important you go down to permalinks. That's going to be the next one. So once you save your changes, let's go down to permalinks and just make sure that usually it's like this by default. This actually not right here. We want it to be post name. So we want it to be santrelhouseplants.com/sample post. So every article is kind of categorized and labeled like that. So the URL ends up really making sense based on the title. It's going to be good for Google. It's going to be good for your own understanding, like you're organizing everything and finding articles. It's going to be good for sharing just across the board. It's usually a good thing to have. So we'll save those changes. So that's the fundamentals of WordPress and managing your website. Let's talk a little bit more about how to actually get some of those links on there and how to find products that you can actually use. So let's go into a new tab. And we're going to search for Amazon affiliate program. Amazon affiliate program, we have to apply to that. So Amazon Associates Central, that's going to be what you want right there. So we'll click on that. And this is going to have us sign up. So when you sign up, you are going to need your Amazon account. Doesn't really matter what Amazon account, you can make a new email. I usually recommend having a professional email for any blog. In the beginning, it costs a little extra money. So maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you just want to make a Gmail for free. But either way, create a new account for Amazon, and then you're going to have to just kind of go through that process. So you can create a new Amazon account for this. You have to solve the little puzzle. Sure, let's see it. What? Pick the dolphin. Psh, easy. I'm not a robot. I could do that. You'll create a new Amazon account. You'll go enter your phone number. You'll enter your domain, your URL right here. So I would enter santrelhouseplants.com. You will enter yours, and then you'll be signed up for Amazon Associates. Now I already have an account, so I'm going to jump over to mine. And the way this works is once you have an Amazon account, once you have an Amazon Associates account, you can go and just search for any product you want. And there are different rates, of course. So if we just look up Amazon Associates, so you want to look at the commissions, the different commissions for different categories, and it shows you right here an entire list. Maybe I'll like zoom in so you guys can see this better. But different things, like you want to keep this in mind. Some things are like 10% or even 20%. So Amazon Games, 20%, that's pretty significant. 10% would be like luxury stuff, Amazon Explore, luxury beauty. So a lot of that, it makes sense that maybe you'll want to focus a little bit more on writing articles that would be inclusive of that. So maybe like top luxury beauty products would be a great article if you're focused in that realm right there. Going down, you can see like physical books. We've got toys and furniture, different things at different commissions. So maybe books are like a really easy one to recommend. And like, you think every article, you could probably recommend some kind of book, and maybe you want to make that like a staple that at the end, you always have like a book that I recommend that you can check out. You're getting 5% off of that. Now that won't always convert as well as something else. So an article about powdery mildew, selling books is going to be a little tricky because people really just want to know the answer. And if the answer is to buy powdery mildew spray, you can have a button right there, and I guarantee this would convert really, really well, saying, this is the product I use, this is organic, this is safe in your house, it's safe for pets, and this is something that like you can buy on Amazon right now, and it'll show up like tomorrow. So that's such an easy one to recommend. So when you have a product that you like, on the top, you have this little Amazon Associates site stripe. If you simply click on text, you'll get the link, the text link right here. So we could right click that, we can copy that, and now going back to our website, wherever you want it, let's just say we want it on that post right there, you can go and put that link in there. Now, another really powerful tool I recommend, kind of going along with this before we get into the other products out there, let's say you have maybe like a Twitter/X, or maybe you're on Instagram, maybe you're on TikTok, even YouTube, wherever you are, if you're on different platforms, maybe you want to share the link outside of just your website, and you don't want it to be like amzn dot whatever. Like, it doesn't always look good. And Amazon's not the worst. Other ones like CJ, which I'll show you in a minute, can be substantially worse. The links are just disgusting, and they look like a total scam, which they're not, but people aren't going to click on it if it looks scary. So what you want to do is go down to plugins. Let's go to plugins, and a popular one, we're going to search for a new one. This one is called Pretty Links. Pretty Links. So if we type in Pretty Links, you'll see Pretty Links should show up somewhere. I think it's actually 2 words, Pretty Links. And there it is, Pretty Links, affiliate links, link branding, link tracking, and marketing. Now, this is really great because you can actually track individual links. Of course, you can do that with Amazon, but it's nice to have individuals see how many clicks you got on different platforms, and you can have some different redirects. So if somebody clicks in a different country, you could send them to one link versus another link. It's a really powerful tool. So setting up Pretty Links is just, I don't know, it's one that I always really like to use. And once again, there are paid versions, or there is a free version as well. But if we click on Pretty Links, we'll go to Add New. So there are probably 3 main advantages to Pretty Links. One of them is you can track your links, so you can see how many people click on that. Number 2 is there are some very professional things. If you go down to Pro, I have this on my other websites, but not on this one. You can have like geographic redirects, for example. So if some products are better in different countries, maybe they're like just legal or not legal, or maybe you get a commission in one versus the other, then you can have geographic redirects. So the same exact link brings you to a different website depending on where you are in the world. You could also do it based on device. So you could do mobile versus desktop and have different links. Actually, one link go to 2 different websites depending on what device you're on. Super powerful. And then the third benefit of this is that it's easier to change all of your links at once. So if you want to, like, if something's no longer for sale or you want to update something, you can go in here, change the link once, and it'll change across the board, obviously, because you're always going through this rather than having to go into every single article, every single social post out there, every single whatever video you made, and change the link for all of them and have broken links otherwise. It's just easier to do it like this. So I'm going to paste the link in there. We're going to call this powdery mildew spray. Powdery mildew spray. We can copy that. We can update it. And now when somebody shares this, it's just santrelhouseplants.com/powdery mildew spray. Super easy, way more welcoming, a way better link in general if it's a link that people actually see. Now, in your website, usually you're using hyperlinks so people don't see the link, so it doesn't actually matter. But if you're sharing it on any other social platform, like I said, on X or Twitter or something like that, then it's going to look better like this. And when you enter that, it'll link you right over to that product, like I said, and the user can go ahead and buy that. So I love using Pretty Links. It's something that is just so powerful. So we're going to actually... It's something that's so powerful. And you can also like create reports and search for things based on tags that you make, or just based on different links. So you could look at like every link that has powdery mildew in it. It'll show you like how many clicks they all got and how many unique clicks as well. So that's a great tool. So I always recommend Amazon Associates for beginners because one, you have a massive library of products and almost all of them are monetizable for at least a couple percent. So it's really easy to find and recommend. And then 2, anybody who clicks on your link, you'll have a commission for, I think about 24 hours is the window, but obviously check that. And anything that person buys within that window, you get a commission for. So if they click on, this happens to me all the time. They'll click on a link for like a $10 product and then they'll go and they'll buy like a $500 vacuum cleaner, a $2,000, I don't know, whatever, like different things they buy, and you'll get a commission on that as well just because they went through your link. So that's a really big benefit of using Amazon. It's also very easy for people, like they click on it, they're familiar, they're likely to just, they're not worried about putting their credit card into some weird website. Like it's Amazon. Everyone uses Amazon. So that's a big benefit there. But there are some drawbacks. One is that you're pretty limited to the rates that they define. You can't negotiate with the brand. You can't get any of the conversion benefits I'll talk about in just a minute. But of course, on top of that, you're limited to only the library of products that are already there. So if new products are just coming out and they're exclusive to the brand's website, or they're only on Best Buy or only somewhere else, then you're gonna have to wait until they're on Amazon. So So the next thing that I like to do is kind of find some other platforms you can use. So if you just search for best affiliate marketing platforms, there are quite a few, like a massive list here actually, and each one's going to be better for different things. Like PartnerStack a lot of times partners up with individual brands. So like one brand will have their own kind of PartnerStack page, and you can have, a couple within PartnerStack, whereas other ones are more like a big affiliate network. For example, like, ClickBank, I don't really use that. CJ is a really big one. There are so many different products. And like, for example, I have a tech review channel, and Garmin and Sony and a lot of other brands have affiliate partnerships with CJ. So I'll go through CJ, I'll be able to find a link, and then I could just share that link to the specific product. And the benefit of this is, one, you can contact the brands after you've had some success and really drove a lot of traffic to them, and you can renegotiate your rates so you can get higher rates like that. And the second benefit is that once you have that contact with the brand, you can customize your link. You can get a lot of other things. Like, for example, one of the big ways that we like to improve conversions is by creating an incentive. This is really important. It's really important to understand that and really think about that with all of your articles, with all of your content that you make. You want to make sure there is an incentive to go through the link. So not just like click the link to support me, but also click the link because you're going to save money. I have a better price here, and if you type in like this code, you'll save even more money. So it's worth it for people to go through your link. So a good example would be if you are a mattress reviewer. So 8 Sleep is a mattress that actually is really expensive, and their commissions are pretty incredible. So going through Amazon doesn't really make sense for that. Going through 8 Sleep's own website gives the customer a better experience and also gives you a better commission. So it makes sense to go through things like that. Now let's talk about what the next steps are. There's really 2 big things. I have my notes written down here so I don't lose track and go on a tangent. But number 1, we want to talk about how to find the right articles to start creating and how to really improve your website, figure out where you can improve and how you can improve. And the second thing is figure out other outlets that we can use to kind of grow even faster yet. So starting with the first one, there's 3 main tools that I like to recommend for anybody that is getting started. 2 of them are free, 1 of them is paid. Starting with the free ones, they're both from Google. So the first tool is going to tell you how you're ranking on Google. This is called Google Search Console. This will tell you what keywords you're ranking for, where you're showing up when somebody searches for like how to manage powdery mildew. You show up on like the 3rd page. Maybe you're moving up in your rankings because you did something recently. It's going to tell you a lot of that stuff and really help you to figure out what keywords are doing well, what's not doing well, what you can focus a little bit more and really double down on so you can start ranking and really get that organic traffic. Now, when you click on Start Now, you're going to first have to sign into your Google account, and then second, you're going to have to put your URL, your domain in there, and then it's going to walk you through some basic stuff to connect that. Now, I already have it connected, so I'll show you this in just a second, but I want to recommend going to either ChatGPT or Google Bard. Google Bard might even be better for this, and as you go through that, just because there are maybe 2 or 3 steps in there where you have to copy and manage the DNS on there, it's helpful to have ChatGPT there just to kind of walk you through that process. Even though Google has their own guides on how to do it, and they make it pretty easy to do, sometimes it can be a little tricky. It is getting a tad technical there just to set it up. And so ChatGPT is a good thing to say, just to ask like, hey, I'm trying to do this. How do I do that? Where do I click? And it'll kind of walk you through that and help you just in case you need any help. So I'm telling you that you probably won't need help, but if you do, just ask Bard or ChatGPT. Okay, so this is what Search Console looks like on this particular website. Let's see, which one is this? I think this is my personal brand website. So yeah, this one, I don't have any articles on here. I'm not trying to rank on here, but just kind of showing you what this actually looks like. The performance will show you how many clicks you have for your website, the indexing down there. Let's actually go to performance. It'll tell you, so there's like maybe 65 clicks a month, pretty low, but like I said, this is just a billboard for brands to check me out. So 65 brands a month, that's pretty good, I think. We've got impressions on there, average click-through rate, average position when somebody searches for something, as well as what searches you're showing up for and where the clicks are coming from. So it looks like Mike O'Brien, I get the most impressions, not as many clicks. People are probably clicking on my YouTube channel for the tech review channel, like I mentioned. But it tells you, you also have, you rank for Mike O'Brien YouTube, Mike and Nate O'Brien, Mike O'Brien, Nate O'Brien brother. That's a good one. Just a bunch of other things like that. And you can go through the different tabs here and see which pages are showing up. Like I said, my main page is probably the only one that would ever show up. That makes sense. What countries are visiting you. That's really important for affiliate links because some affiliate links only work in the US and Canada, the US and the UK. Some of them work everywhere. Some of them don't. Like, you want to keep in mind where people are coming from. And so this can kind of help you choose, hey, if you have a really high commission on a link in the UK, but you don't have any readers from the UK, like, you could try to write a different article and target that, or maybe it's just not quite worth it for you to chase that down. So that's tool number one. Tool number two is Google Analytics, which you can find at analytics.google.com. It'll take you to, again, you have to sign into your Google account. And this is going to be less focused on search and much more focused on within your website. So this is going to allow you to figure out how long people spend on each page, where they click, what their general pattern is. Maybe a lot of people go to this one article and then they all end up on your 404 error page, which is bad. That means that there's a broken link somewhere on there and you have to go back and find that. Or maybe everybody goes to your like top 10 plants to grow indoors article, and then from there they go over to like a Monstera article. And so that'll tell you like, oh, there's a lot of interest here. That's a really good funnel, sending people that way. You want to double down on that and figure out what you did right there and apply that to some other articles as well. So the third tool is one you would have to pay for, but they do have some free tools on here as well. And this is called SEMrush. I think we have a discount link. I'll put it in the description below so you guys can go and save some money there. But this is going to be powerful because, one, it allows you to analyze competitors and actually put in someone else's domain and figure out how much traffic they're getting, what articles are doing better for them. And not saying you want to copy anyone. Obviously, don't do that. That's not good. But it's good to kind of get a general idea of what's working. Maybe a different format's working. Maybe they have a lot of questions in their article, and those questions are ranking on Google. Things like that you can really start to focus on is something you could learn through SEMrush. The second thing you can do with this is analyze your own website, which is great. It can show you like, all right, these are all the articles you have, and based on a lot of other websites out there and based on a lot of users, these are the holes of where you don't have any articles. Maybe some common things, some common keywords that are searched alongside the keywords you rank for that you just, it's a void. Like, you should be focusing on that. And the third thing is actually keyword research. So let's start off with the competitor one. So if we're looking at a plant blog, I think the sill.com is one that we could probably talk about. And so they definitely sell a lot of stuff, but they do have a lot of blog articles on here as well. And so if we just copy this, let's copy the domain, we can go over here and paste it on the top. And this will tell us a lot more about how well this website is doing. So the authority score 55 is pretty decent. It's not the best out there, but they're getting a lot of search traffic. They're getting about 500,000 hits per month, a little bit more than 500,000. They are getting about 1,400 for paid search traffic. So it's also important to note, maybe some websites seems like they're doing really well, but maybe a lot of it actually is just paid traffic, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind. When you go down, it'll show you a lot more about what keywords they're ranking for. So the sill is a pretty big one, of course. Bird of paradise plant is a big one. Rubber plant is a big one. And so you can kind of see some emerging trends of maybe like what plants are popular this year, what people want to talk about. And that'll give you an idea of where you could possibly write some new articles. But this is really quite impressive. In my opinion, I've always loved going here and just learning a lot more about what everyone else is doing. And it can also open your eyes to some other competitors as well. So you can check out all 5 or 6 of these right here. So like I said, it's really important that you're not directly copying other websites, but Sam Walton, one of his famous things that he's always done was he always had this notepad. He was the founder of Walmart, of course, and he would go into Kmart and every other big box retail store, and he said he actually spent probably more time in competitor stores than in his own store. It's a great way to learn about what other people are doing, what's working, and kind of adapt that and improve on that on your own website, in your own business. So that's why we really like to use SEMrush. That's the first thing right there, showing you domains. Let me just show you keywords as well. Then if we go back to home, now let's just say I want to learn more about powdery mildew. Maybe that's like a keyword that I'm really focused on, as we've been talking about throughout this video. Powdery mildew. We'll search that, and this will, and this will tell us a little bit more about the keyword difficulty of that. Now, it's a little bit more difficult than I would like. So for a new blog, this might not actually be the best one to go after. And of course, once you have SEMrush, you can actually have projects tracked, you can have competitors tracked, so you can learn a lot more about things and keep tabs on them. They also have on the left side the keyword magic tool, keyword manager, position tracking, organic traffic insights. So a lot of the stuff that we saw in Google Analytics, you can also find on here. And so this also backlink gap is another one, because one of the important things, and I haven't really discussed this just yet, one of the big strategies that a lot of people like to use is called backlinks. So backlinks is going to essentially be, if I make a website, Google, like honestly, they want to trust you, but if you're new, they don't know that you're not a scam yet, and they don't have time to go and check everything on your website. So it's going to be over time, they'll start to trust you a little bit more. But one of the ways to accelerate that is to have somebody that they already trust link to you. It's called a backlink. So if you make an article that is just so useful and so like groundbreaking, you talked about something new nobody else ever talked about, and other articles want to talk about that, they're probably going to reference you. They're going to say, according to Mike, and they'll link back to my website. And so Google looks at this and says, all right, well, if like CNBC or CNN.com or whatever is linking to this website and we trust them to not be a scam, then this website is probably a little bit more legitimate. And so that'll boost your domain authority and essentially help you rank higher in Google. So because there's a couple ways to do that. One of them is to do guest articles, guest posting. So other blogs might let you write an article for them, and in return, you'll get a link back to yours. A second thing you could do is just provide tremendous value in some article and then just tell other people about it, and maybe they'll link to it. The third thing you could do is maybe do interviews or podcasts or something like that, or otherwise just provide more value where they want to directly quote you, like you are an expert on the subject. This happens all the time on like CNN or Forbes and all different websites like that. They'll interview somebody, you're an expert, and then they'll link back to you, so you get your backlinks that way. Now, there are a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, this is not TikTok. This is not social media. This is a long game, because you have to really keep at it for a long time, really keep your head down, keep grinding for at least 3 to 6 months before seeing results. You can't expect to put a blog out and have millions of people reading it right away. You're way more likely to put out a bunch of blogs, maybe 2-3 blogs a week for 3 months. And maybe if you're doing things right, you might have a couple hundred hits a month. Now, many people at this point get discouraged, they stop, they leave it, and maybe a year or two later, they go back and they say, wow, like these articles are ranking now, because it takes time for Google to realize what articles are good and have them start ranking. And so that's why you don't want to just walk away after 3 months, because at 6 months, after a year, if you keep the dedicated consistency, you are going to see better results. As long as you're smart about how you do things and you're looking at the right keywords and you're really like spending a lot of effort learning and improving, I can almost guarantee you're going to find success. It just takes some time to really let Google discover you. And after 6 months, maybe you'll have a couple thousand hits a month. After a year, maybe it'll be 10,000 a month. And so you can see how this really starts to scale, and it's all organic. Like, you're just writing the articles, you're hiring somebody to write the articles, and then Google just finds you. People are already searching for this stuff, and then you're getting that free organic traffic. And of course, that can convert to affiliate commissions. Now, if you want to accelerate this, if you don't want to wait that long, which it's totally fine to wait that long, but maybe you want to kind of supplement this and improve it along the way, there are some other outlets that we like to recommend. Of course, the more socially kind of things like Reddit, Facebook, and Pinterest are 3 really popular ways that allow you to share links pretty easily. So if you're providing a lot of value in a Reddit community, don't shill your article. Don't go out there and just say, check out my article. But if you find somebody asking a question that you answered in your article, you can go there and say, like, hey, I think this is the answer. By the way, here's a link to an article that explains a lot more about it. That would be a great way to kind of link back to your website. You can do the same thing in Facebook groups and Pinterest. A lot of people sleep on Pinterest, but it actually has a lot, like I think over 100 million active users, monthly active users. So it's a pretty substantial platform that could allow you to really get traffic there as well. And if you want something even more viral, I recommend checking out TikTok. Not everybody wants to be on camera, but it can be pretty casual. You can just use your phone and point at like plants in front of you. If you have a plant blog, for example, and say like this right here is called powdery mildew, and then say read more at santrelgardening.com or Santrel, what did I call this website? santrelhouseplants.com. Or that could just be your username, santrelhouseplants.com, and you could just say like read more on my website. Kind of just sparks a little bit more interest and gives you exposure to an enormous network of people, billions of users that could potentially find that. So like I said, keep in mind, this is going to be a long game, but I'm very confident you can definitely do this. Affiliate marketing is so rewarding. It's one of the best ways to start off with very little overhead. Like I said, it's only a couple dollars a month, and then it rewards you a lot for consistent effort, consistent learning, and Actually, I have one more free tool for you that I didn't mention before. You can also check out trends.google.com. This is a great way to see what's actually being searched on Google. So if you don't know if people are searching for powdery mildew or white powder on my plant, you can search for both of those. And let's just do that right now. So you can look at this and say, like, is it plant mildew, powdery mildew? And they both have similar trends, and it shows you what time of year that's most searched. So in the summer, seems to be much more common. But then in the winter, it dies down a lot more. So this gives you an idea of the seasonality and when you want to write certain articles, as well as how you want to phrase different things. So those are the tools that I think you need to be successful with affiliate marketing, specifically with an affiliate marketing website. And this is something that can be incredibly rewarding. But remember, it's not going to be a get rich overnight thing. You're not going to make $1 million tomorrow. If you wanted to do that, maybe you could just throw your money in like a casino or in some meme stocks and just pray that you hit the lottery there. But if you want to have something that's consistent and reliable and predictable, then it's going to take work and it's going to take a long time to get there. But affiliate marketing is absolutely one of the best ways, in my opinion, to build your own online business. It has very low overhead. It's very rewarding of your work and your consistency, and you have a lot of control over things. So I hope you found this video helpful. I really wish you the best of luck with your affiliate marketing journey, and I can't wait to see any of your websites out there on the internet. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider liking and subscribing. I'm Michael Bryan with Santrel Media, and I'll see you on your websites.